Welcome back, everybody. Thursday, July 27th, the last Thursday before the end of the month. Fresh off the federal government doing what they do best, always the wrong thing. We are back for Crypto After Dark. I hope everybody had an awesome couple days. Hope you had an awesome week since last time we spoke. I didn't put out a second video this week. Got really busy with the kids, so didn't have two videos this week, only one. This live stream, right? Which is actually what I kind of prefer anyway, just once live stream a week. We used to do two. We may go back to that eventually, but for now, we're going to stick to one. Glad to see you, everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith. I hate Keith. Keith sucks. Whatever. I'm cool with all of it. Let's get into it. If you haven't done so, please do me the solid. Go hit the like button. It costs nothing. All right. Also, while you're there, hit the subscribe button, right? Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything right there. Bow. All right. Simple. Hit the like button. The more we do this, the more YouTube pushes us up the algorithm, the more everything gets out there for free, because this is what we do for free, right? We come on here and discuss charts, discuss techniques, discuss strategies, and see where we think things are going to go week after week, day after day, each single time we look at a chart. This way we all make more money together. All right. You can watch these charts that we show on here. You can make a collaborative effort to, take it to the next level and study something that you like more. Maybe you've got a different strategy that you like and you want to talk about it. Well, that's what we do here. All right. There's a comment section just to the right there. Please be free to post whatever you want in the comment section. Only thing we'll do is if it's kid porn or something stupid, we're going to kick you out, obviously. But there are no kicking out haters around here, right? I don't mind if you don't like me. We get plenty of that. I promise you I get a ton of people who don't like me and a ton of people who don't want to hear what I have to say. And I'm okay with that. I'm kind of gotten over it after the last several years of doing this, right? That's just part of the game for me. Whatever. I don't take it personal anymore. So, first thing I want to do is kind of discuss Bitcoin, where we saw things at last week and where things have kind of developed into since then. All right. So last live stream, you can clearly see where we've gone down on the chart since where we were. Right here's our previous Thursday. We had this red candle come in. I got fibs pulled up right here for you at the moment, but this red candle was where we were. Since then, we've done what I thought may happen, which was fade back because we failed the 821 EMA and we failed to hold the range above this white line that you see here, right? Quite simply, the range failed and we're going down to the next level of that range, which we already did. Pretty clean touch on this wick right here on the 382 fib that you see there. And by the way, everyone, if you haven't, please switch your YouTube resolution to the highest resolution you can. I broadcast in 4K. Problem. YouTube won't automatically put 4K on there for you. They'll probably give you 360p or 720 or something like that. We're on 4K on the backside, and we do got the Mulvaney's out. I don't care. Anyway, we failed that range around the 236 fib. Now that we've failed that range under, well, guess what? We've gone to the next lowest fib, which is a 382 fib. Now that we've hit this 382 fib, we have a choice. We can either break back over that 821 EMA, which we don't have on the screen yet, and I'll show you in a moment, or we fail down to the next level lower, which just so happens to be about 28,000 flat, roughly. Well, 28,005 was where I said last live stream. As things develop and change, we have to adapt. Moving averages, hey, guess what, everybody? They move. From one day to the next, they'll be slightly different. So that's what we've got now. I'm going to jump to Bitcoin CME before I show you this so I can show you the difference in these moving averages on the same asset, but two different charts. All right, on the thumbnail, you saw that I kind of drew this green arrow right here and kind of showed that, is this support? Is this not support? Well, there is some support here, obviously. We can look back at the chart here and see that it's kind of bouncing on the top of these other candles here and hasn't fully failed into it, even though it's dug into it some. And I'll elaborate a little more on that in a moment. But first, I want to show you moving averages. All right, here's the 50 moving average in yellow, the 100 moving average in blue, and the 200 moving average in red all the way down here lowly at the bottom. And I'll say hey to everyone in a couple minutes. I like to give some people some time to get on here. You know what I'm saying? So when I made the last live stream a week ago, that 50 moving average was at about 28,500. And I thought we may get a brisk move down. Well, now it's at 28,655, which you can see on the right here, right? That's the yellow highlight price in the price bar over here, just kind of showing you the number, 28,655. Obviously, if we get a sharp move down, that may go down to 28,650 or whatever. The moving average is what the average is. It's going to move constantly. Point is, that's a support zone, all right? These moving averages act like rolling support and resistance on the chart. So we can kind of see what's coming when a chart's pointing in a certain direction. We can kind of get the variable a sense that it's going to go there. And since we know it may go there and stop, we can kind of predict what will happen from there. So that was first thing I wanted to show you was we haven't quite hit the 50 moving average on the CME chart. Now, I'll go back to the Binance chart, which I was looking at a moment ago, just here, and you can see that we've clearly bounced on this 50 moving average several times. And one would argue we are now under the 50. Didn't want to be there. You want to be above this 50, obviously, because if this 50 moving average can't hold, you're going to test the next lowest part of your range, which is roughly 28,990 or roughly 29,000 flat. Don't hold that. Guess what? Next support zone down here is roughly around where this 100 moving average is. Now, I'm going to stop there and go back to CME to show you something else here. The reason I said this might be a support zone is multifaceted, all right? I'm going to put the fibs back up there like I had them on the other chart. So this was an uptrend, which seems to be slowly failing here. So I'm going to pull the fibs from the bottom up. It was an uptrend. I'm pulling from the bottom up. There's a built-in trend line in the Fibonacci retracement tool. That trend line should be going in the direction that you're trying to see how far back it will fail. Okay, this was an uptrend. So I'm pulling up. It's obviously failing. So clearly the trend line is failing. And now that the trend line is failing, we want to know how far back it's going to go. Now, once I pull this up though, you kind of see that this thing hit 382 and bounced up pretty well, right? Bounced up. Now it's kind of sitting flat, thinking about it, not quite sure what to do yet, playing games. As long as it stays above what looks to be about 29,120, which is roughly 29,000, well, then you're all right. Moving average over here, obviously 28,660, right? So it's a little different than Binance. But also inside this orange box that I've got drawn right here, not only is the 50 moving average there, but if I turn this off for a moment and I put pivot points on there, which are pivot points kind of show you mechanical support resistance on the chart as well, in a mathematical formula. But 29,000 flat is roughly where the pivot is. And look, it's just bouncing on top of it right now. So long as we stay above this pivot, which has 50 moving average support, 382 fib line support, and pivot support, it's all right. Not the end of the world. Now, I have debated inside my own head about reducing my positions down a little bit here because I get the feeling we're just making lower highs and lower lows here and working our way down and grinding lower. And I can buy lower is my thought process. I don't want to get stuck in the rain and buy and immediately go up. So I'm just still having that internal debate with myself on exactly what I want to do. Haven't quite made my mind up yet because my alts that I bought, they're doing all right. Let me have a drink. Good old American Mulvaney's. If this fails 382 and it fails that orange box, I get the sneaky suspicion that the 50 fib isn't going to stop it. I get the feeling that it's going to go all the way down to the 618 level, which is way the hell down here at 27,365. So my hope here is that this 382 hangs on. Now the problem with this 382 fib hanging on, and hold on. OBS Studio crashed and then came back up. Sorry. If this 382 move is it, that lines up pretty darn well with our upper gap here, our upper CME gap that we have that goes roughly to around 35,000. Right? That still hasn't closed, and it may not close this year. If this move fails and drops lower and makes a lower low or a lower high, If it does that and does not complete another uptrend cycle, then it ain't going to close this year. It might wait until next year to come up here and close this gap and then proceed to do its normal bull run thing. We're going to have to monitor that closely. I'm not a mind reader. It's not witchcraft. It's basic math. And if this math fails, the math fails. I don't know what else to say. So let me pull this fib back here because it's clearly not done. There's more time here in this fib. It goes all the way to the middle of August. So there's still time here. If this thing wants to hang up and come back, it can still complete its 35,000 move. This is why I'm on the fence about reducing the position and why I haven't yet, okay? Because it's like right there on that spot where I'm kind of making my mind up and kind of not making my mind up. And since I have an indecision, I'm going to stay flat. I'm going to keep flat here and not panic, right? I think panicking is the wrong thing to do most of the time. So there's my Bitcoin look. There's what I think is going to happen, right? I'm hopeful for a 382 bounce. If a 382 bounce doesn't happen, man, look, she's likely to come back farther than that. Okay? Don't want to see it, but it is what it is. Again, I'm hopeful it stays up there. I don't like the action that the dollar gave us, and I don't like the government raising rates. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go say hey to everybody first. Shall we? And we shall. All right. So first on the list was, wait, what? It says, catch you in the AM. That's cool, brother. Thank you. I know everyone can't stay up super late. I get it. It's crypto after dark, so you guys better gear up. When the bull market comes around, you guys are going to be waiting to see what we say, so get used to staying up late. What's up, Mullet? He says, Wind Moon. Electric Ken, congratulations on little Chart being born. He named him Art, but I'm going to call him Chart. Ariana, good to see you. Soto, Jag, Lunatic Prophet, Mr. XR Femi. Staying up late. Let's go. Good to see you. Miss Kelly Slade, how are you? Tex, E. Phillips, what's up, brother? Dynamis, what's up, Dean? Ron Poteet, good to see you. Chadma, good to see you, brother. For the Carolina style party. That's right, bro. Mulvaney's up. Jeremy Monroe says, Buenos noches, mis amigos. Good to see you too, brother. Russell Thomason, what's up? Tario, Brandful, Raclette, Cheesy, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thurman. Where's Thurman? That's an old school joke for you kids who weren't around back in 2020. Crypto Kitty, what's up, ma'am? Good to see you. Pa Ma, good to see you, brother. We don't like pervs, we like Keith. Ha! Me neither, bro. Does your skirt match that beer? Well, wouldn't you like to know? Delacroix, good to see you. Mr. Fibonacci. We give rounds of applause around here for the OGs. Good to see you back, Sean. Good to see you, brother. Spock, what's up? Ronan, what's up? Beast Mode Focus, what's up, ladies and gents? I don't know, what's up? He said, Cheese is awake? Gala. Okay, we can look at Gala. I was just talking to Rob. No, not Rob XRP. Regular Rob. Crypto Sensei Rob. About Gala. I got to make sure my Gala node's running after we get off of here, too. So you guys will see me fucking around with PineScript. I'm sorry, with Putty and with running code after this on the Zoom. Because I got to make sure my node's running. Because I think it went offline. I got to reset it. It's something that you have to do occasionally, which is super annoying. But whatever, it's part of the gig. I think that's it on everybody. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. I see 40 of you guys on here, 27 likes. I mean, 13 of you haven't. Why not, man? It's free. Hit like. That's free. All right. So talked about Bitcoin. First, I want to talk about the dollar. All right. So I put this on Twitter for a reason. Overall, you've got lots of lower highs here. You got a high. I'm sorry. Well, we got to start way back here, right? Let's just do it all the way. Yeah. We had our highs and our lows. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Higher high. Even low. Maybe a break. Nope. Lower high, lower low. Lower high, lower low. Lower high. We're going to get another lower low in here. Well, slight problem with that. Government raised rates. And here's why this is important, okay? So I'm going to record this so I can put it on Twitter after. When the government raises rates like this, especially at a critical time in the year, like in the end of July, Here's the problem. It sets the tone for 2 months because there's no August session, right? Government goes on vacation like they really needed it. But they go on vacation. Government doesn't really do much in August except flip quarters, right? Drink beer and go on yachts, visit certain islands. So it sets the tone for an entire end of a quarter and beginning of the next quarter, all right? Since there's nothing to do, you go on what happens in July. And since they raised rates again in July, which pushes it to a 22-year high, by the way, 5.5%, right? 22-year high. Essentially what you're doing is backing up on the dollar a little bit, giving it a little bit more strength because you're going to create a demand. But this also puts the pressure on equities, risk assets, anything that you spend money on to try to make money on, all right? The other thing on this is we're already starting to see banks tip over the scales a little bit more here. There's no big secret that mortgage rates are stupid high now. They're almost triple from what we got ours at in 2021, which is pretty wild to think about. I mean, I know rates were low then, but still, I mean, we're almost triple now. The housing prices have started to top off a little bit, but there's still a large demand. And so long as there's demand, you're going to have supply issues. And if you have supply issues, you'll have higher prices. Thing is, you're limiting the amount of people who can buy homes by pinching the banks, by raising those interest rates up. The same house cost more for less room. All right. That's a problem. We've already hit the point where almost 80% of median income families can't afford to buy a home now, and they're going to be forced to rent. And rental rates are obviously higher than mortgage rates, which is probably the way it should be, but there's an imbalance. Keeping this imbalance creates uncertainty. This uncertainty is not good for risk assets. The bond market we saw go up as well in the recent bond auction. They got almost 0.25% more than they thought they would, which was a precursor to let you know, hey, a lot of big dogs who rather buy bonds instead of getting into risk assets. Why is that? Okay. Why would they be going into something less risky? Why would they be paying a premium to go into something less risky? Okay. All this sets the tone for what will be happening in the next month or two. We've often said on here that we knew there was going to be some kind of summer peak. We're inside that summer peak zone now. We're going to see how long it goes. Will this stretch into August? I'm hopeful it does. Because if we stretch into August, we can go back up to that 35,000 level and close that CME gap, the last CME gap above the price. That's not a guarantee, just how I kind of see things going, okay? And I'll show you the chart to kind of back up what I'm saying now. So here's the chart. After the news today that the government was raising rates, well, look what the dollar did through this big, humongous green dildo candle here. After failing at resistance, right, bumping its head on resistance here, the first two candles, third candle came in like it was going to go short. Government says we'll raise rates. Immediately, whoop, the dollar gains strength. And why is that? Again, they'd rather be in less risky things when there are higher rates like this. Okay, they'd rather be in less risky things with higher rates. When we see those rates go down, that promotes spending. When you promote spending, well, people buy stuff, and they buy investments also. Okay, when you buy those investments, you look for a return. If you don't get your return, you get upset. Can't have donors getting upset here, okay? Because don't forget, campaign season starts pretty soon here again. Let me get a drink real quick. There we go. Some good old Mulvaney's. Anyway, after this move yesterday, I went, oh, crap. This looks like it's going to go up more to me. So the green box that you see right there that I've drawn, that represents, I'll pull a fib here so you can see it. That represents the 618, 68 area, the golden pocket area, would also be a lower high overall. And here's the pivots that match it. All right, so we've already jumped over S2. S1 is at 102, 112. Or 102, 12, I'm sorry, 102, 12, almost 102, 13. That's the next resistance zone here. Obviously, you can see there's some resistance right here, and that pivot just kind of reaffirms it for you. So, as long as this thing keeps running like it's running, and that's a massive amount of buy pressure right there. As long as you see that big green candle come in like that and throw a very bullish candle, even the little bearishness you get after this just sets up a precursor run up here to this golden pocket area. next. Now, could this go past this area? Yes, it could. Could come all the way up to Sniper's Alley, potentially bump this trend line. All right, we look at the RSI. We see this thing is clear bullish convergence. They're both pointing upward. This RSI could keep going for quite a while. It's nowhere near overbought. I mean, even back here, look at the climb this made. Never broke overbought. The beautiful thing about older assets like this at your chart, I mean, obviously it's the dollar index, they move very smoothly usually. Okay, when there's a herky-jerky move like this, you know, when you see this big herky-jerky move like this, it's pretty inefficient. It's probably going to correct itself, and sure as shit it has, right? Again, I want to see this fail, because if this fails, that means our risk assets will continue to go up, right? People would rather be in risk assets than the dollar if the dollar's failing. If the dollar's doing well, they'd rather be in the dollar than be in the risk asset. It's very basic stuff here, okay? They're kind of inverse of each other. Not always, but a lot of times. Now, my hope again, bumps the golden pocket here, rolls over and fails, and prints one more lower low around the $98 area. Honestly, we thought this was coming after last week's close, because this thing closed way lower. Again, it may take a while to play out, and I'm okay with that. Just got to be patient and let it happen. Next thing I want to talk about, stablecoin dominance. Another thing is, you guys don't see this because you're on the other side of the live streams. I don't write down what I'm talking about. I free flow it here. Every once in a while, I'll write down a couple things to talk about, but for the most part, I just, the day before, kind of start thinking, okay, here's what I need to talk about. Here's what I don't need to talk about. Please don't ever think I've got some kind of pre-planned thing I'm thinking of and pre-plan I'm doing. It just doesn't work that way at all. It's not even close to it. All right. I'm just looking at charts and giving you what comes out. Let me look at stablecoin dominance here real quick. All right, here's USDT, which is Tether. And this is the percentage of the market that Tether is currently held in. And right now it's about 7.3%. As you see, we were trending down pretty hard here, and this thing made an immediately bullish engulfing and has since forth worked its way up a little bit. Still nothing to write home about, but it is forming a bit of a bottom formation here, and it does look like it's going to try to create an up move and fill in some of this inefficiency, this very inefficient red drop here. All right, look what's happened the last couple of times it did that. Big red drop. All right, then you clean some of the inefficiency up. Had another big red drop, slowly cleaned up the inefficiency. Big red drop, probably going to do the same thing here again. If that's the case, you can see money coming in stables, which means it's going out of riskier things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just showing you what the chart says. Here is USDC. All right, USDC continues its march downward. Only about 2.3% of the market. Since it's only about 2.3% of the market, you're not getting a ton of movement here. If I add all the stables together, you get more of a look here. Now, obviously, it's a mathematical equation, so it's not going to tell you the percentage of money that's in there. I'm just looking at the chart for the movements on this one, and it's still trending down, right? Can't deny it's still trending down. Hasn't changed. Needle hasn't moved too much. So it's no big freak out yet. As a matter of fact, we're likely to get something to this effect, right? I'd like to see that to run back down here to this support zone, somewhere around in there before it makes a move. Now, obviously, that would be somewhere around the October to November area, but I don't know. I can only say so much. I don't have the future written down. Can't see it, so I'm just saying what I'm saying because that's what I see on the chart. Cool. So Bitcoin, I talked about. The dollar index I talked about. And stablecoin dominance I talked about. Those three things will get you pretty far down the line. Okay, pretty far down the line of information. That's about as far as I want to go into those because, again, we're kind of lying in wait here. I just get the feeling this is going down more. It looks like a lower low, lower high situation to me. It looks like it wants to give me some more down. Clean up some of this inefficiency on this run up here. Probably going to retrace into this a little bit and cut into it. Just the way I see it. I hope it doesn't happen and I hope we get up. I've already told you my case for that. All right, let's answer some questions first and then we'll move on. He said, can we check out KAZ? Yes, we can. So I got GALA and KAZ to look at. Peter Navarro, what's up, brother? Good to see you. A VPN or a VPS? I'm using a VPS for my GALA node, Delacroix. When you get a chance, can we look at TDOC? TDOC. Cycling Cotton, good to see you. I've got to fix my gallon nose tomorrow. See? Oh, Lord. We like Halloween. Yeah, I like Halloween. What's my current range? Where are my highs and lows? Can I buy the lows and sell the highs? Very good. I'm getting a higher high right now. I'm not gonna lie. Casino coin. What's the ticker on that? Is it still CAS? Tell me the ticker. I forget the ticker. I mean, that's an old school one, bro. We ain't talked about that one in forever. Had a pretty shitty bull market, didn't it? All right. So let's do some of these first. Like I said, I was looking at GALA just before this because I was talking to Rob about it. All right. And that's not wonderful news here. GALA continues this very, very steep march down. Let's pull back way back here. You can kind of see, this isn't even the whole chart, but it's all of the bull market. You got a very steep pullback here. Wish it wasn't this way, but even this one that broke has henceforth failed and rolled over and played dead. So every little uptrend that comes in here is getting caught up by sell pressure. Every single time it appears to want to make a move, it gets caught up by sell pressure, buy, sell pressure, buy, sell pressure, buy, sell pressure, buy, sell pressure, until it cracks another trend. It's probably going to get stuck in the mud. If we remember this correctly, you know, GALA didn't really take off and get going until 21, not 20. So, you know, it was kind of a mid to late runner. And honestly, we sold it way too soon. I sold GALA way before the top. The good news was it was all profits and it paid for itself 3 times over from what I paid. But still, I mean, we talked about this after the fact. And, you know, me and Terry were talking about this after the fact. And I was like, dude, we left $100,000 on the table. He's like, yeah, we probably did. Now, looking back on it, that's hard to swallow. But at the same time, dude, I made great money on it. So I'm not going to complain. I can only hope we're going to have as good a bull market this time. You know what I mean? So I've got several thousand GALA tokens in my node built up. I'm not going to sell them or touch them for now. I'll leave them be and I'll let them play out. And I'm hoping that the chart does roll back. For now, it's a no for me. Until I see some good price action here, I can't bite. The good news is, in the bull market, when it's time finally, doing the math on this, let me grab the top of this here and pull down. All right. So, by the numbers here, if we don't make any more lows, and we've already got our low for the cycle, right? Let's say we have our low for the cycle, though. May not be the case. We may go lower, all right? But assuming that we do. If we get back up towards Sniper's Alley, where I think most assets will probably get back to, most that are not a shitcoin, right? Yeah, it's not a shitcoin. So if we just get back to Sniper's Alley up here, which would be absolutely lovely to me, I'll go ahead and tell you that I have, let me do calculator. I have 33.5 thousand GALA tokens. All right. I have 33,500 of them. If we get to a price between 36 cents and 54 cents, let's call it 45 cents to be fair, times 0.45, that equals $15,000. $15,000, and it costs me about $6.99 a month to run the node, right? I don't hardly make any money on it right now, which is the point I'm trying to make. However, if this gets back up to Sniper's Alley and I don't make a single more tokens, if I don't make another token, I have $15,000 in profit from that particular node. I paid $6,000, a little bit over $6,000 for it 2.5 years ago. I've already got my profit 3 times over. So now I'm about to get another 200x on it. Pretty happy with that. Now, is it possible that it goes farther than that? Yes, it is. I mean, GALA had a hell of a move back here. This isn't even the whole chart. If we break anything above this, we get near $1. We get back to all-time high, which isn't a guarantee. We break all-time high and sprint for the top. We're talking about a lot of money. Let's just do the math, right? 33,000, 500 tokens. And let's say this thing hit one of our take profit fibs up here, the Fibonacci levels of 259, 260, right? So that's times $2.60 per token, roughly $87,000. I'm not going to complain about that at all. That is a year plus of salary for me. I'll take it. Not bad, right? I don't know what you guys are thinking about, but I realize that, you know, for the most part, after doing this for several years, that you're not just going to get rich real quick. It's not how it works, especially if you hold. You're never selling anything, or you're never actually making any money. You're only making pretend money that you didn't get anything for. I'll be selling the tops, okay? Not only will I be selling the tops, I'll be getting better than I did last time, right? Because we have better feel for what the market may do as compared to what we had last time. This is my second bear market. Last bull market was my first bull market, right? So I was way under on some of my predictions for stuff. The good news is I would rather miss low than miss high, because a lot of people were predicting these god-awful stupid numbers, and I wouldn't do that kind of thing. So it was better for me to be on the low end and say, well, it might go to $1 and it goes to $1.50. And I go, well, hey, at least you got $1 out of it, right? So there's my thought on GALA. I'd love for, I mean, I'm here for GALA. I have a GALA node, so there's no shade here at all from me. I'm pulling for it, so to speak. Yeah. The higher up it goes, the more money I make on it. I don't have to buy any of this, right? I already have them. They're just sitting there. I'll probably buy more of them before the bull market actually gets going, so I can maximize my earnings, right? But my GALA node is locked in. If somebody wants to buy it from me, they can offer me a ton of money, and I'll give it to them. But it's the best I can do, right? And for what you pay for them now, it's insane, all right? Insane. Almost 6 figures for a GALA node. No, thank you. Kaspa. That's KAS. All right. All right. Here is Kaspa. So, hell of a run it's had. It's outperformed most assets, since the end of 2022. It's been on a solid uptrend. It tickled all-time high here again recently. Didn't break it. I don't like the fact that it's on the wrong side of this trend line. However, you can't argue that it just keeps going. We actually have 2 separate trends here, right? You've got this very strong upper one, and then you have a little bit lower one. And if you were doing a GAN fan, you would notice that this thing's working its way down through the fan levels. And I don't want to see that. I prefer if it stayed above it. But so long as this thing continues to hang on to the 821 EMA, I cannot knock it. All right, there's the 21. Let me put the 8 EMA on there. There you go. Long as it continues to maintain the 821 EMA, can't really say bail, right? Tickled all-time high, didn't quite break it. Guarantee you it's overbought, because it's always overbought. But it also did this back here. Look how high it went back here. We are with a 91. You only peaked out at about 80 for the moment. Way better than 91. So there's a chance it takes another stab at all-time high. So long as it's above the 821, can't really deny that from it. It's outperformed everything. It's up at R3. I would expect a pullback here. If it does pull back, what levels do I see it going to? First would be roughly around, if it fails from here, 0.28. And that'll probably be near the 50 moving average for another 50 moving average bounce. Yeah, 0.28 would be a failure zone. I mean, honestly, it needs to retrace so that it can gain some more momentum on a high time frame. As you see on the weekly here, scorching hot, but you do have a bit of bearish divergence here. So be careful, okay? It gets a little spooky that it's on the wrong side of that trend line for me, all right? Again, I'm not telling you it's a sell signal, because by the 821 EMA, not. I wish it would have broken all-time high and made new highs here. Didn't, came close. It made even highs. You know, if we were doing trades on Forex, well, that's kind of sweeping the wrong direction, right? So you can draw a trend line here very clearly. I would go so far as to say, as long as that trend line holds, it's okay. Not a sale yet, and it's okay at the moment. TDOC. All right, Teladoc Health. All right, this thing's been scraping the floor for a while. Look at that. Just chop, chop, chop on the floor. Back and forth and back and forth. All right. So let's have a look back in history. Boy, look at this big ass gap back here. Goodness. There's a gap all the way to $55. That's almost 100% up from the current price. I mean, it seems to be making a bottom formation, but it's done this before, throwing these little sharp moves up. So I'll be a little leery of that. It's right up next to the trend line. I need to see a break first. It's close, but not yet. I mean, really close, but not yet. I'd be a little more careful if it were me. All right, how about Rose? Cheese asked, and he was trading this earlier, so now that's why he's talking about it. He had a pretty good run with it earlier. All right, sharp little uptrend here on the short term. See that? Very good. That's an uptrend. On the bigger term, well, she's down a country mile, isn't she? Look at that. Still down a ton from the top. A bit of consolidation, honestly. Scraping the lows from 22. It blew through the lows of 22 and made new ones around the beginning of the year. Had a great run. Tapered off pretty sharply. Now it's kind of gone flat. It's ranged really well, but it spooks me out here because it's overall lower highs. I don't like that. I like to see it get up here and clear some of the debris back here from June. Make a high over that 0.58 to roughly 0.6 here would be awesome. Get up in that range. Now you're talking about higher highs and higher lows, and you're going to continue your uptrend. A failure of that is going to be disastrous because that's going to pull us back toward the lows again at roughly 0.37. So I've got a little bit of Rose that's stuck. I can't do anything with because I staked it. That's why I don't encourage staking. You can't get rid of it when you want to. Kind of sucks. But there's my take on Rose. Let's see. CSC. Thank you. That's Casino Coin. It wasn't the U.S. Fed. It was the EU Central Bank raised rates, which is the highest weight in the DXY, and they raised rates in Europe at 5 a.m. Eastern. That's why well, I mean, you say European rates, but also the federal government, the U.S. government, the Fed raised rates from 5.25 to 5.5. Either way, all bearish for risk assets across the board. Bearish for risk assets. Japan announces their fiscal decision tomorrow, Japan time, right? Again, there's another one, right? So we're going into this session. Everyone's just following the dollar, which is crazy how they say they hate the dollar, but then every government follows it, right? It's 12:30 in Japan right now. Yep. How about pre? Yeah, we haven't talked about pre-search in a long time, have we? What's up, King of Light? Good to see you, brother. Bow, 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 bow. Not my sparring partner. I would get knocked out. Made it to a live stream. What do you think of BTC double bottom before having? Double bottom. That's Cryptofferson. That's a pretty good name. Cryptofferson instead of Chris Christofferson. I like it. Double bottom on Bitcoin. I mean, you're asking for it to come back down to 15,000 from the current level. That's a lot. I would think 20,000 first. It's more psychological and there's support there. That's not a guarantee. That's just me saying I think that's the level it goes to. From there, we would kind of reassess. Honestly, we get down to that level. We can go look at it real quick on a higher time frame. All right, not the week. So, double bottom. All right, now if I pull a trend line here, a little evidence for what you have to say lies in the chart, right? Double bottom, something like she comes around and makes a bit of a head and shoulders and then comes down here and makes a run down for the lows. I'm okay with that. That seems bad, but it's not really. I'm going to say, you know, right in here around the 20,000 mark, there's good support, and it comes all the way back to here too. I'll put a horizontal line in there to kind of give it more realization there. For a $20,000 retrace, what would that put us on the fibs? Well, I pull a fib from the bottom here. I pull it to the top. I give an overall look at it here. This is the weekly chart. That runs out to about February, by the way, of next year, which was about a month and a half before our bull run starts. Before halving. How about that? Here's our levels. Yeah. If we're at the top now, 22,050 fib. 618 golden pocket area, $20,000. That's a normal nominal retrace for Bitcoin is about 60%, right? $20,000 is sitting right there at about 60%. That's if this is the top. If we go a little higher, that changes, all right? And I'll show you here. If we go higher, let's say it goes to 35. That's 33, 34, 35. 35.5, right? I think that's roughly what that CME gap is. It changes our numbers a little bit, but not a ton. So now we're at 23,000 for a 50 fib. Seems low. All right. And our golden pocket is still down here, roughly around $20,000. 21,000 to 19,000, roughly 20. Yeah. Breaking below that, one last chance would be our sniper's alley, 18,000 to 17,000. Anything below here, testing these lows, potentially breaking the lows. Right. 12,000, 11,000, 10,000. It's not out of the realm of possibility. We've seen it before, yeah? Adjust one step at a time. One step at a time. Crawl before we walk, okay? And walk before we run. Run before we sprint. Sprint before we decide we're going to go into light speed, all right? It's a lot to ask. You're asking a lot for that thing to fall that far. I mean, that would be a monumental drop. Luckily, we'll be out by then, yeah? So I'll rebuy much lower. You give me a chance to buy $10,000 Bitcoin, yeah, I'm going to buy the hell out of that. That's all there is to it. And we're going to make a ton of money doing so. I hope you all are anyway. I'm damn sure going to try to. Casino coin, CSC. All right, we finally have it on a chart, which is kind of cool. So this goes back to 2020. Yeah, how about that? And here's 2022. Yeah, this thing took a monumental fall, didn't it? Let's see if I can find another one. Casino coin Bitrix. That looks horrible. I'm just looking through, finding the cleanest chart right now. There's CSC USD and regular CSC. So I guess we're going to use this one. It's the cleanest chart. That goes back to 22. Let's go over to, and this is going to be bright, everybody. I am sorry. But what we're going to do here is we're going to go to CoinTrader. And it's going to be bright, hurt your eyes. So close your eyes if you are not prepared. Sorry. Oh, it's bright as hell. Oh, so much better. I can't handle the light screens anymore, man. I've just gotten too old. So it bothers me too much to use the bright screens anymore, man. That's how you know you're getting old, when you got to start doing dark screens because your eyes get hurt. So old, dude. All right, casino coin. Casino coin, US dollar. All right, man, we are down a country mile. Let's go to the weekly. Boy, this thing looks horrible, y'all. All right. Following the downtrend, looks like we broke and have started to move a little bit of volume back in the positive direction, but it is so far down. Back to daily here. Yeah, it's just any little bit of movement here looks big because it's so far down. It is up about 100% though. You can't deny that, right? It almost looks dead. November 21, April 22, March. Gosh, where do we even pull the fib from? We got to start back here, yeah? Let's pull a fib from there. And sorry for the funky colors. I'll fix it here in a moment. Hang on. Got to go back and change all these settings every single time I use TradingView. I mean, every single time I use CoinTrader. You know, it's frustrating, but that's just part of the game. And there's all of our settings adjusted back to kind of the way we like it, barring the colors of the fibs. Let's see here. I should probably let's just pull this over here so we can get a grand view of what's going on. So we're still well in range here. Anything from here till 3 zeros and 33 is in range because it's such a humongous range. Beyond that, it doubles to 6. Man, that's a long ass way up there, y'all. I don't know. That seems like a big ask to go that far up. Yeah, man, that's so far down. Look at that, dude. That's in peril. That's a perilous fall. But can't argue that there's volume coming in there. It needs to break that 3 zeros 33 or 3 zeros 34. Breaks that, that's different because that jumps into a new range. Jump into a new range, you have a chance to make a run up to the 382 fib, which is doubling another 100%. It's at what appears to be near the floor, though. I mean, look, it's been at this rough floor level here for a long time. That doesn't mean it's bullish. It just means it's kind of scraping the floor here. You're going to take a chance, I can understand. That's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing wrong with taking a chance when you got something scraping the floor that you think you can make some good money on. Fair enough. Best I found, CSC was Bitchu, decent one on XP. Right. List them out, peeps, free TA. Yeah, that's right, bro. Manolo says dag and puts up the whiskey symbol. I think we have to drink if we do that one, don't we? All right, well, let's have a little look-see at Constellation. All right, let me get a drink here. By the way, Bud Light, I'm still waiting. I don't care. I'm not going to be moved on this, like Samuel L. Jackson said in the movie Black Snake Moan. I ain't going to be moved on this. I made up my mind. All right, so good news and bad news here on DAG. I talked about this before. It appears to have broken the downtrend, which is awesome. I like the fact that it got over the downtrend here and bounced off of it and gave us a good retest. Now, I'll say that. I like that, but, right, there's some caveats. Just because it's done that doesn't mean that we're full nuclear up. There's still work to be done, all right? A good back test is great. Now, after a good back test, I want to see the trend continue up. So far, trend is continuing up. Yeah, I can't argue with that. It appears to be making a higher low, which is awesome. And as long as it can continue making those higher lows, we can continue marching north. What we may see is a bit of a falling wedge here that forms. All right, and it takes a little bit of time to build up before it makes another move again. I'm happily cool with that too. It kind of matches up what I think may happen with the rest of the market. Now, I will say that DAG had done nothing to this point and finally appears to be doing something, which is a grand improvement. Because I know everyone in the ecosystem that isn't a full-on shield and thinks they're going to be a millionaire next week was all feeling the pressure here. Yeah, everybody's feeling the pinch. You've got all this money tied up into it because, you know, you're dedicated and you think you've got a home run here, while everything else goes up, and then DAG doesn't. Right? That sucks, and I know that sucks, and I don't want to make fun of anybody about that. I want to see it go up just like you want to see it go up. Okay, I'm on your team here. I mean, people think I'm hating on them, and it's not the truth at all. So the good news is we got over the 200. Bad news is it's stuck under it again. Until this thing kind of holds that level, sideways down. All right. I don't want to see that descending wedge, but I think that may be what happens here for a moment until it gets a good, clean breakout. Had a couple good weeks here. It did go overbought on the daily. It did spring right back after going overbought and bounce down into nominal trading range again. So that's what leads me to think we may get that, you know, that sideways and down falling wedge. Here's the Ichimoku cloud. You do have a 4 out of 4 on the Ichimoku cloud. What is a 4 out of 4? Well, you have all 4 check marks that you need. You have your lag line over the candles, which is great. You have the conversion line over the baseline, which is blue over red, which is great. You have a green cloud on the end, which is great. And you have the price candles over the cloud. That's 4 out of 4. That's solid, right? As long as it maintains that, no reason to freak out. If it starts losing those, you would scale out appropriately. For every one of these that go the wrong way, for instance, a red cloud on the end, or if the conversion line went under the baseline, or if the candles went under the cloud, or if the lag line runs into and falls through the candles, you would reduce 25% each one of those, right? So if you had $100, you would sell 25 for each X you get, right? Hasn't happened yet. Still looks okay. Sideways down isn't the end of the world here. Would like to see some more up, but I think that comes in time. Little by little, you guys are going to start to learn that moon soon is a terrible idea. You don't want God candles. That's also horrible. XRP is a great example of that. It went straight up, and now what's happened? Nothing. All right. So you want slow, steady to win the race. I mean, honestly, go look at all the big hitters: Tesla, Google, Amazon, Facebook. Everything that's worth a lot of money was slow, steady up. It wasn't all God candles. All right. Have a little discipline, but remember, on your team. Right? It's important to understand that stuff. Everybody wants everything to just go flying up in price. It's just not the way it works. Right? Pre-search. Well, this one looks way worse than DAG, doesn't it? So you've got all the reds on the cloud here. Not even worth looking at that. Now, Bollinger Bands. It is over the 821 and the 50. It did shoot a nice candle up, and it appears to be forming a bull flag here. There is room for this thing to move up toward this 100 moving average, but still got very low volume. Equal lows. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Look. That's a roughly an equal low here, okay? At that, there's a good possibility you get some reversal up. At worst case scenario, you've bought lower. So if you wanted to buy some and sit on it, only problem I have is if this thing starts closing under this, you get the price down here somewhere, she may be going a long way down. If you can hang on to it and it stays above this low, worst case Ontario, you're going sideways. Now your money may be tied up. But again, not a horrible play. Not a horrible play. I'm a pre-search fan. And I made good money on pre-search nodes. Those are good dudes over there. Talked to Colin, interviewed Colin. He's a cool guy, right? So I'm a fan of pre-search. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm a shill or anything, and I don't get anything for it. So, but I'd like to see it do well, though, right? I want to see everybody do well, for what it's worth. All right, CNBC was talking about the Ichimoku cloud the other day. Isn't that interesting? Every once in a while, there's these little droplets of water where you go, hey, man, maybe you got some, and then they go right back to their shill bullshit again. You'll see a Pfizer commercial come on there and you go, aha, I know what you're doing. All right, Wombat. This may seem ridiculous, but I do think this will do well in the bull market. I know what you're looking at, and I know what you think. I do think this may do well in the bull market. We'll see, right? It's a pretty big platform, and I know it looks like it's dead, but that was what I thought before it did this humongous move up that it made, right? So made some money on Wombat, and as a big ecosystem, they got a lot of people who are active. There's a bunch of different stuff on it. I can't really tell you all about it because I don't really care. I'm just a chart guy. But you can see how far down this thing went. Just got absolutely punished. They launched at a horrible time. You never launch in a bear market. Can't understand why people think that you should launch at the top. Arbitrum was smart in that fact where they launched toward the end of the bear market going into a little bit of a bullish move, which isn't a bad idea, right? Don't launch right at the beginning of a bear market. What the hell are you thinking, right? But hey, devs don't usually listen to me, so what do I know, right? I'm just an idiot on the internet. If I say anything bad, well, that means I'm fudding, which is one of the dumbest fucking terms I've ever heard. Fudding, that's the best you can come up with. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Yes, it's called being a fucking realist, using my brain. God forbid we say something bad about the ever almighty token that you love. Grow up, right? This is the real world. This is the investment world. This is not playtime in the sandbox. Okay? No one cares if Jimmy said something mean about you. Go grow up. What else we got? I think that's about it. So we got a couple more minutes. Let's look over a couple more here. Here's ADA, Cardano, still trending up. I'm still in this one. It was up really well. Kind of let me down. What do you know? AVAX failing the trend, but still over the 50. It's in a really, really tight spot here. Okay, you see that? It's pinched. It looks like it wants to fail down. I don't have any AVAX, so whatever. But as long as it's over the 50, it's trying. I need to see it break back north, though. Right? Break some levels here and prove it to me. ALGO still sucking high and tit. Nothing to write home about here. XRP. Everybody wants to hear about XRP all the time. You've done nothing but fail levels over here, and you've not broken a single level back north yet. So nothing to write home about until I see it. I was worried about this even high or a lower high, and that's exactly what we got, was an even high, not a higher high. Until that happens, 75 cents will be a hard, stiff barrier. You could potentially get another run toward $1 here. I'll be selling if that happens. Sorry, not sorry. I'll rebuy later at a lower price before the bull market actually gets going, because I think this is just a precursor to the bull market. Seen this game before. XLM outperforming XRP as usual. Welcome to the real world. But again, it made a higher high and a higher low, but now it's making a lower high. I'd like to see a little bit more improvement here. A lot of sell pressure on the top of these wicks. Looks like it wants to retrace. To me, H-bar disappointing me. Please go. 821 downward cross is approaching. It's still above the 50. It's still trending up, but come on. FTM was an interesting thing here. I was looking back at this, and it's way down. It's near its lows again. All right. If that's the case, this thing doesn't want to bounce here. Wants to come down and give me one more little down here. I'll take it. But please note that this thing is in the 786 on two different planes here. 786 from the recents over here. See, you're in Sniper's Alley here, which means potential reversal. You are in Sniper's Alley. If I go all the way back to this one, doesn't matter. You're getting roughly the same look here. Bounce Sniper's Alley. Almost bounce Sniper's Alley again. All right. And if you go really tight right here on this one, same formation, same thought process. Sniper's Alley again. I don't hate taking a chance on FTM. I know it looks like a fallen knife, and honestly, it kind of is. So you need to have a decent stop loss here. Anything breaks below the lows here, you got to bail. But if this thing can break some of the sell pressure, I think you may have bought really close to the low. So time will tell. We'll see how things work out. But that's been an hour. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single person who comes on here. All right. I really, really, really do. Our Discord is still going. If you're not there, what are you waiting on, everybody? Here's our free access to our Discord. It's also in the description of this video. If you like full access, it's a whopping $8 a month. My gosh, $8 a month to learn everything you need to know to set yourself on the path for financial freedom. I'm not sure why it's that big of a deal, but hey, I can't make everyone's mind up for them. All I can do is say thank you for the people who have. And on that note, make the best of your todays the worst of your tomorrows. That's Jay-Z. And you could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with me. You'll never understand how much I appreciate that. Thank you all. I'll see you on the next live stream next week. Be good. Have a good weekend. Peace. Sky's the limit.